Hi, this is Doug Manch, and you're listening to Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast.
Yes, welcome back, Looney listeners. You are listening to Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast. This is episode 123. I am your High Priest of Khonshu Rey, and tonight, for this very special episode, I have a special guest, and he goes by the name of Wayne. Wayne, how are you?
Here I am, world. Here I am. I'm good, man. I'm good.
Excellent. Welcome back. Welcome back. Look, it's been a while, actually, Wayne, since we've spoken, but not only over the airwaves, but, you know, we used to have a nice little chat in King's, the comic book store.
Yes.
Just, you know, obviously current conditions for the store have deprived us of those really cool chats that we used to have.
No, we're in a shoebox store at the moment while we wait for our new store to be finished, so it's pretty testing, but I'm actually out at the warehouse, filling out the online orders and, you know, digging through the crates and the short boxes and, yeah, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, awesome. And how, I mean, like, we're not far off from the opening, right? It shouldn't be too long before we get to, you know, chew the fat.
Yes. It's, man, it just feels like there's, I mean, with anything, you know, anything as big as this and as what the guys have planned, I can't obviously leak too much information out about it, but, you know, there's always delays and little setbacks. So,
yeah, of course.
We were kind of hoping not to be in the store, or the current one we're in, over Christmas, but a bit out of our hands at the moment. So, but it will be worth it. It's, you know, I mean, I'm basically in the head office now, so listening to all the talk and the chatter of the things that's happening, and, you know, even getting to put my input into stuff is pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome stuff. You've got one hand on the strings there, Wayne. You can, you know, or on the steering wheel. You can write that ship, you know, any way you want to.
I'm pushing the pedal down, boys.
Well, I mean, it's so good to have you on the show. We've had you before for a review, and Looney listeners, Wayne has returned. We have a God, what is it? It's a waxing crescent, and it is our LUNAR-PICK modern run review for tonight. So Wayne's joining us for this. Will be interesting, Wayne, because we're doing a Bendis issue, and it always seems to generate
always controversy with Bendis. Always.
It is.
You gotta love that. You gotta love that, right?
Yeah, you do. I guess. But there's just so much. Oh, people are so passionate about it. So I can't wait for us. I've got no idea about your thoughts on this issue. We'll discover that as we go through it. So it'll be quite interesting. But yeah, it will certainly be a fun thing to do. We are doing Bendis Volume 6, Issue 4. Of his run, so we're progressively going through his run in our modern run review. Now, Wayne, I guess before we start anything, we usually, well, this is kind of new, a little bit of idle chat. Just want to kind of get your, you know, recommendations to the Looney listeners out there as to what you're reading, watching, and listening to. So. Look, I'll give you some. I'll give you some time to think, right? Because look, I'll just rip through mine pretty quickly. Just these are just recommendations, Loonies. It's nothing potentially to do with Moon Knight, but you know, if you're up for something different, or you know, you want to try something out, these are definitely for you. So, what I've been reading, and my pick has been Rye #1 from Valiant Comics. That's written by Dan Abnett, drawn by Juan Jose Reap. Bloody awesome beginning to. Have you read this one, Wayne?
I haven't, no, but actually, I think I filled your order maybe the other day and had a flick. So it looked pretty interesting because you know, we are pretty big Valiant fans, so I don't mind the old Valiant stuff. Yeah.
So once again, Wayne, you're proving that you've got one hand on the strings there. Oh, the control is with Wayne. With information comes power. So I've got to tread carefully. But anyway, Rye #1, absolutely fantastic. It's a post-apocalyptic thing. Rye and his brother, Raijin, are traversing the deserts, being pursued by these steampunk or whatever Mad Max-like people. Really well drawn, fantastically written. As for watching, look, I dabble here and there all over the place. I caught a couple of episodes of Titans on Netflix.
Yeah.
Catching up on that. I'm really slow on that. I'm in season 1, but
season 1's fantastic.
It is good, yeah. I mean, I'm up to the introduction of Donna Troy, and the episode after that, Hawk and Dove, the origin. I take it you're a big fan, Wayne, as well?
Yeah, look, I wasn't. I've always kind of considered myself not a massive DC fan.
Mm-hmm.
But then my faithful manager, Jimmy, pointed out to me the other day, but all you read is DC lately. So I was like, hang on a minute. Yeah, I think you're right, actually. Maybe I'm a bigger DC fan than I realized. So, I mean, I hadn't been exposed to much of Titans itself, but actually growing up, I followed a lot of the Hawk and Dove series.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was familiar with those characters, and watching that episode, episode 2 with Doom Patrol was fantastic.
Yes.
And obviously spins off into the Doom Patrol series itself. I think maybe 3 or 4 they kicked off with that episode, which was just Hawk and Dove. And I was sitting there watching that, just going, I would watch a season of this. I'd watch a season of just Hawk and Dove myself, but which I think they announced originally, but
really,
they pulled the can back on it. So, but it's still good they've become series regular. I haven't watched a lot of season 2 yet, just time forbids it, but I'm keen to get back into it. Yeah,
I mean, you've kind of hit the nail on the head there, Wayne. I found that episode with Hawk and Dove quite entertaining, and it actually got me interested. I pulled up the DC Wiki just to try and, while I was watching it, because it had, his brother Don as Dove, and I just thought, okay, what's happening here? But yeah, they sound pretty interesting. They're a bit more super powered, I think, in the comics. They've got some sort of...
Yeah, it's just a really good dynamic. And then they went off, I think, into maybe, I want to say Justice League Europe or something like that.
Right. Yeah. No, so I'm enjoying that at the moment, just watching So Loonies. If you want to watch something, check that out. And the last one, listening to, I've got to give a shout out to, again, this is Valiant comic related. They're a heavy metal band. I'm not really typically a heavy metal band listener, but they're called A Sound of Thunder. And they have done soundtracks to, or have been heavily inspired by Valiant comics. So previously they have done an album called Tales from the Dead Side, which has to do with Shadow Man. They have the official single to the recently released Punk Mumbo miniseries that was written by Cullen Bunn? I think it was Cullen Bunn. Yep, a really cool song. And just recently they've released a single for the Rye issue 1. So you're meant to kind of listen to that music while you read it. Really cool. I love it. It's just, over the top, operatic, heavy metal. Yeah. But anyway, those are my suggestions. Wayne, I've given you a little time to ruminate.
Yeah, no, I actually was when you said that, I was like, I've been into some stuff lately. So, music-wise, I've been listening to a little bit of everything. Josh Rouse has an album called Nashville, a bit of an older one. Country, a bit pop, but it's a really smooth listen. I've been listening to One Below, which is a rapper out of, I can't remember where he's from, but he's done a few albums, but I think Sonogram is the album I've been listening to.
Okay.
One I grew up on.
Right.
Yeah, that's about it music-wise. Television-wise, wow. I've caught up on season 1 of The Boys.
Oh, lovely. What did you think?
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Eh?
You know what? I've never read the series, but loved the show.
Well, you haven't read the series?
I haven't read the series.
Yeah,
no.
me neither.
I know all about it. I've definitely flipped through it on the shelf and just gone, okay. But, season 1 was fantastic. Really enjoyed that, and the cliffhanger for the end.
It's crazy, isn't it? Because I don't know about you, but when it was announced and when it first aired, I really didn't have that much interest in seeing The Boys. I kind of just saw it anyway, just like, okay, it's a comic book thing, I might as well just have a look. And I was just drawn in.
Yeah, I was much the same. I watched episode 1, I was like, okay, I'm in. It's crazy. I need to know what happens now. So, yeah, been 2 days. So. Wow.
And sorry, what was that?
A few late nights.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and they got some big hitters there, Carl Urban and Elizabeth Shue. Big name, both.
Man. Big crush on Elizabeth Shue. Still.
Oh, yeah, you and me both. I must admit, ever since Back to the Future, she's kind of been up there.
She's still eye candy.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I watched season 1 of Carnival Row, which was really good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like it's a little dark, but fantasy. And then the other one I've been watching, obviously week to week. Actually, it's the first time for many years that I've enjoyed watching a series from week to week. You know, now in this sort of era where, you know, we're what's the word I'm looking for? We're we binge watch.
We binge, yeah.
Yeah, you know, we'll wait for a season and then watch the whole thing. But the new Watchmen series has been fantastic.
Oh, yes.
Just the, coming up with theories and then having them blown out by watching the next episode has been super fun. And I actually was just on a Justin Hamilton, Australian comedian.
Yes.
He has his own podcast and Facebook page, so I highly recommend anyone's into Watchmen. Definitely jump on that because they do a really good coverage of episode to episode. Plus, they've gone back and they're covering chapters of the original trade.
Okay.
And yeah, so I went back and read that.
Yeah, are you a fan like of the comic book, the comic books and?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't read any of the before Watchmen because I kind of wiped my hands of that. And the new stuff, Doomsday Clock, I'll probably check out, to be honest. I'm kind of interested to see. I thought it was actually a really smart and clever play by DC to bring them back into the DC universe and kind of revive everything with Rebirth. So I like how they tie that in. Interested, I mean, it's, you know.
Yeah. I'm just wondering because, like, if you did have an interest in the comics and stuff, how did you find... Because I've heard of people... not being happy that it's just very the TV show is just very tangential to the comics and. Okay,
so I think I said this on Justin's show actually, the Big Squid podcast. That the thing I always loved about Watchmen was the attention to detail. Nothing is there by mistake. Nothing is there by chance. Everything placed. Almost every color used in the panels, every background image, every character is there for a purpose, and it's almost like that with the show as well. You know, keeps you guessing episode to episode. I highly recommend anyone to watch it week to week because it'll drive you crazy, but in a good way. But the attention to detail is fantastic. The TV series takes place 30 years after the graphic novel, and it's look, we're up to I think episode 6, and I'm still guessing what's happening.
Yeah, me too. I'm absolutely loving it. I'm not a fan particularly of the comic books, but I'm just enjoying this for what it is, and you know, I'm not nitpicking that. You know, this. You know,
I mean, if you're going to please everyone, there's always going to be those hardcore Alan Moore fans that will think blasphemy, and I kind of address that in the podcast as well.
Okay,
because I think he gets a lot of hate online, which is crazy because. I mean, we're really going to miss him when he's gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no doubt that he's changed the face of comics for everyone, you know?
Yeah. But he also says a lot of things that are really kind of just stir up. I mean, one of the things that kind of get me is that he talks about, he has a broad sweeping statement of, like, you know, comics these days, they should be striving for, I guess he strives for comics to be more of a higher art, and I get that, and I understand that, and comics can definitely do that, and his comics have shown that. But I believe comics there are a lot of subgenres within it. I mean, you can have people read comics because they want to have fun, or they want to escape, or it's just a bit of popcorn entertainment.
100%. I mean, look, no human is flawless, right? And I don't try to understand. I don't try to understand genius. You know, whether that genius is music, whether that genius is art, whether that genius is written. I just take it for what it is and what I pull from it. So, look, like, we're good mates. I'm sure we have stuff we disagree. We won't agree on. Same thing with Alan Moore. It's like, look, you can't deny the guy's body of work and the big hitters he's had. But, look, he wrote, Wildcats or something like that as well for a while. So, it's not everything that falls out of the pen from Alan Moore is gold, and you shouldn't treat it as such gospel. But, the standouts are standouts for reasons.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they certainly are. You can't deny it. I mean, whether you like that sort of stuff or not, you can't deny, and you have to respect what he has done for comics anyway as well. I mean, he's a big mover and shaker. You're talking about geniuses, Wayne. He's doing for comics what the Titans have done for for music or for movie making or for literature. So he'll definitely be remembered, and that's a great thing. But yeah, I mean, again, everyone is different and everyone's not flawless. Sometimes he says stuff that people may not necessarily agree with.
He's definitely said stuff, and it's definitely that I've sort of shaken my head out, especially his view on the comic industry. I think the thing, if people do a bit of research and look into, the history of Alan Moore, he's also been pretty scarred and pretty hard done over, by DC and publishers in the past. So, that obviously taints his view in a certain direction as well, because he's had to deal with this. And this is long before social media. This is long before any of this stuff where artists, writers, could gain real credibility. And I mean, imagine Alan Moore coming out now and all his bodywork coming out now in this social media. Do you know what I mean? Like, if there was any sort of back and forth between him and DC in today's day and age, well, he'd have an army of people fighting his cause. You never had that back then, right?
Exactly, yeah. It will be so different. I mean, I guess working in the industry back then and now, I mean, social media is such a...
I mean, the Vertigo line was a DC joke, right? Like, and DC pulled the talent from the Vertigo line over, to try and spin money in the US. And there's a big reason why Alan Moore refused to have his name with the Watchmen movie that came out. The money he gave all to Dave Gibbons. So, like, there's a lot of credibility for the guy as far as an artist and a creator.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's good. So, apart from the Watchmen comics that you may have read, any other standouts for what you've been reading lately, or any recommendations?
Yeah. I've been reading. I've just started going back over the Jazz Maynard stuff.
Oh, okay.
Through Lion Forge. 2 volumes with that so far. So we're going through that, but I'm actually pretty pumped about the new Lucifer series.
Okay, where's that through? Is that DC?
So that is through the Neil Gaiman DC print, the Sandman print, and the new Hellblazer ones are started up. So I've been sinking my teeth into that a bit as well.
I've heard that's good, right? That's the Constantine. Constantine. Yeah, great.
The last one was absolute trash, but
the last issue,
the last run they did with DC Rebirth was just. I mean, look, if you're a big Hellblazer fan like myself, like, it was one to forget. But the new stuff's looking really good.
Cool. I mean, I've heard our very own Khonshu has been saying that it has been great guns. So, that you're the second person on the show that has said it. So there's got to be something for it. So Loonies, definitely check that out. Anything associated with Neil Gaiman as well. He's one of a favourite of mine. He's a good writer. And so he doesn't have any direct link to this, but it's part of his universe. Is that right?
His universe. I mean, I'm not sure how much input he's having into it, but, the guys under his umbrella are basically handpicked by him. So, there's, I suppose, a trust.
Excellent. So they're the ripe, firm fruit that he's plucked from the creative tree. Fantastic one. No, excellent. Great recommendations, Loonies. Go check it out. That's we just thought why not? Just most recent shows, just give our recommendations. It's always fun to hear what other people are listening, watching, and reading at the same time. Okay, Wayne, well, we're going to go to... There's not much news, by the way, of our white noise segment. And again, I'm being very particular with the news that I pluck from the internet because there's a lot of clickbait out there. So we don't want to retread all that kind of rumours and, blah, 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 fan casting, stuff like that. That is a lot of fun, but it's not really news. The only bit of news I've got is sent in through my contacts over at Twitter. Justzilla, thank you, a big shout out to Justzilla. He dropped this for me. On Buzz Comics, the website, there's a preview for Conan Serpent War #1. That's coming out next week, and as everyone knows, all the Loonies know, that has a Moon Knight in it. Now, Wayne, I'm not sure if you had a chance to have a look at this preview.
I did.
You did? And #1, actually, do you typically look at previews, or do you tend not to spoil yourself?
No, I flick through. I mean, okay. I don't mind too much. I mean, I'm so submerged in it because of work that
sure.
For me, it's a little bit hard because I'm constantly getting questions and stuff like that from customers. So
okay,
kind of be up to par with it.
Yeah. I mean, I typically if it was a Moon Knight series, I probably won't. I'll avoid it. I try to avoid all spoilers. But this one, I thought I'd give it a go. And we are, covering it next week. So I thought I'd give... What did you think? What did you think of this? This is... So, spoiler warning, Loonies. Just, take your earphones off for the next, 5 minutes.
Cover your ears. Cover your ears, boys.
Cover your ears, la, 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 all that sort of stuff. Okay, spoilers ahead. So, Wayne, this was pretty cool. It basically was an introduction to the main players in the thing, and it kicks off with Moon Knight as well. Yeah. What were your thoughts on this preview?
I mean, for starters, I don't know how I feel about Conan. My back's against the wall. I mean, what I am happy with Marvel and what they're doing with Conan is at least they've, whether it be Conan or Savage Sword or Conan, they've kind of kept him in their own realm as well. Mm-hmm. The Avengers crossover stuff, though. Yeah, that's true. Savage Avengers as well as... I just don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that I might be a bit of a old stick in the mud when it comes to that, but I just feel like he's... you know what? For me, it's kind of like if they were to bring Star Wars into Marvel Universe. And the X-Men... Luke Skywalker team. Do you know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah, I totally understand. I mean, because he's such a large, iconic character in his own right.
Yeah.
You kind of feel a bit off. Like, what's he doing in this universe? He kind of inhabits his own universe, so what's he doing in this? Yeah, I can definitely see what you mean.
Oh, yes, and with Moon Knight, he's, it just depends on what approach they take with him, because he's such a street-level character. Yep. So to throw him back to ancient times, well, you've almost got to write a new Moon Knight, in my opinion.
Yes, I wanted to broach that subject as well, Wayne, because I got the vibe from just the pages that we saw in that preview that it was kind of very similar to the Moon Knight annual, the depiction of Moon Knight in the annual there, where Khonshu is kind of like a given, and there's no more bird skull sitting on your shoulder kind of grey area. He's very much there just instructing Mark. I'm still going to follow this series, of course, but to me, I'm just wary that he might be depicted as a bit more of a generic hero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I read that little preview, and I just sort of sat back and was thinking about it. I just thought, what would be much better? I mean, I get the pull and the interest with having Moon Knight in a series like this, obviously with the announcement of the show and things like that. So people are interested. The Loonies have been, begging for a movie or,
gagging for one.
Yeah, begging for more content. So I get it. But I was almost like, what would have been much better than Moon Knight in this series would have been Conan Khonshu team up.
Oh, hang on, and yes.
Really set the timeline,
Hold the phone. Jack. That might be real. That's actually a good idea. Hopefully we do get more Khonshu in it, because it's very much kind of, I mean, we've got Solomon Kane. It seems to be very much based around, you know, people's beliefs and theology and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, that's actually a great idea. Wayne, I've got a bit of faith in Jim Zub. I do like his writing.
Yep.
So, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. That's just one page, and the art was fine. What did you think of the art?
I was a bit on the fence about that too, I've got to say.
Oh, okay. Actually, okay, so sorry. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. Go ahead. Yeah.
Go for it. No, go.
No, because I did say that was okay, but I did have a little bit of a quibble with it. But sorry, you go on.
I don't know. It looked too clean, too polished, and
yeah, I think that's yeah.
You know, like it looked a little bit too like cartoon edging. I was like,
yes,
come on.
Yeah, nothing against the guy, Wayne, but do you know the Marvel artist? Is it Todd Nuck?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of his, and this is kind of reminding me of his art, which is kind of like, it's very, as you described, clean and kind of cartoony.
I mean, you know, it's not just, you know, it's not that I'm saying that he should be eliminated from doing comics forever. No, it's not what I'm saying. I don't think it suits this timepiece.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I can understand that totally. I mean, especially if you have a beautiful David Finch variant cover.
Right? Always these, you know, like these fantastic variant covers. And then interior is just...
But also as well, going on with that point, Wayne, look, I'm not a huge Conan aficionado, but I'm reading some of his older stuff by Chuck Dixon. And... the artwork is just superb. You know, Conan art is really good. You know,
it was huge, man. Like Conan was huge. I mean, you know, the Arnie movies aside, you know, Conan's been around for years and years and years. They had the reboot, obviously, not so long ago.
Yeah.
So like you know, excuse me, he still has like a super strong following. Like I see it every week with the releases, like the amount of Conans that are coming through in people's orders. It's like he's still there, still prominent. So he's not a character that you can sort of just, I don't know, take lightly either.
Yeah. And I might be, you know, rippling the water here as well, but I feel that his character, there is a certain type of art that you need to associate with him as well. You can't have him, you know, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But his art is usually very luscious and hyper detailed, and you know, anyway. So okay, so those, I mean, I guess those are our thoughts. Loonies, next week we will be reviewing it because it will have dropped December 4th, new comic book day. We'll get to the details of that later for our next episode. But yeah, there you go. Okay, interesting stuff there, Wayne. Interesting stuff. Our next little segment here, Spectacle. I'm going to do a Spectacle. And, you know, Wayne, obviously I should have done this at the outset of the show. But, you know, I'm shaking it up a little, Wayne. You know, I'm changing the order, you know.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Trailblazer, you know.
You are.
But, Wayne, so obviously you are a podcaster yourself, and you hail from the galaxy called Courtside Podcast. Why don't you let some of the listeners know a little bit about your podcast?
Yeah, sure. So we have a very tongue-in-cheek NBA show. We've been running for, I think, like 2010, 2011.
Yeah, amazing.
We got a pretty good, pretty decent following. We just hit our episode 350 a little while ago. So it's called the Courtside Podcast. You can find us at www.CRTSDE.podbean.com. Down there, all the links to our Facebook page, to the show, obviously. There's some videos when we did a live episode for our 100th show. So everything's down there. We talk a lot of trash on the show. It's basically like if you're an NBA fan and love your basketball, love your hoops, whether it be Australian or NBA, it's basically like the conversation you have with your mates. That whole trash talking, you know, with sports, you know how it is. So I better give a shout out to my co-hosts. Vince and Stu, who I think last time I was on the show, I didn't shout them out.
No, you did. I think you made a point because they were giving you hell.
That I was on because, it was just a ruthless 4 months of reminding me of that very point. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Look, I'm not I don't follow the NBA that well. Truth be told, Wayne, it's only through a little bit of a flutter here and there that I do come across them. Anyway, funny story though. One of, work colleagues and myself, we're part of a little syndicate ourselves. We put in a little, and we're still going, so that's good. So we haven't lost all our money. But we like to have a little flutter here and there, with our kitty. And anyway, had a look at the NBA and stuff. And please let me know if I'm totally wrong. But we had a look. Golden State Warriors. They were like massive under. I thought they were good. Like I had another ex-colleague. He was a massive fan of theirs. Isn't that? Sorry.
Injuries have just diminished them this season, so they get on the ladder this year. There's just no two ways about it. They're in the Western Conference. That's probably one of the hardest conferences in the league. So
right. Do they have all the big players though still, like regardless of injury, or? So Kevin Durant left for Brooklyn, which is fine. They've won without him before, but he's just that extra fire piece that puts them way over the top. But Steph Curry goes down, Klay Thompson goes down, Draymond's been in and out this year, so they're relying on a bit of a depleted bench, right?
And it's just an injury-riddled season, and Steve Kerr's just the head coach is just doing his head in.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And is there an Aussie guy? We'd always joke, an ex-colleague of mine. I can't remember his name. He's quite rough.
Aaron Baines.
Sorry, what's his name?
Aaron Baines, maybe.
No, he had if you told me the name, I'd know it. But
Joe Ingles.
No, Ingles I've heard of. He's like brown hair. He's kind of, I think he's a guard or a forward, but he's been known to kind of be really rough and.
Oh, Matthew Dellavedova.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's a guy. How's he going? Is he going well? Is he still tackling them or what?
He's stuck out in Cleveland after Bron left, so he's on his little island. But
okay.
Yeah, Billy's had a bit of a hard time with injuries the past few years as well. But he's also one of those guys that could, if he gets traded or if a contender, say, feels like they're missing that, that Pitbull on their squad, he'd be a great addition.
Yeah, Pitbull, Rottweiler, Bulldog, whatever. Yeah, I've heard he's, probably played rugby in his past life. I don't know.
All us Aussies are a bit feisty, though.
We are, aren't we? Like, it's funny. It's like,
it's our MO.
It's our MO. That's a culture. That's good. And also, like, I just wanted to give a plug to your artwork, if that's okay as well. Your artwork. They can catch your work on Instagram as well.
Yeah, Instagram. I have an account up. It's at BUYWAH. And yeah, I put my sketches up and paintings up, and I mean, it's not too much comic related stuff on there, but
it doesn't have to be.
I mean, a lot of stuff that I'm into, and
yeah. I mean, Loonies, if you have not caught it yet, you would have most definitely been indirectly exposed to it. Wayne has supplied fantastic artwork for the show. He supplied artwork for prize giveaways as well. Wayne, as well, you continually draw and create artworks throughout the year as well. That they're posted up. So urge you to have a look and drop Wayne a line if you're interested in any of them. They're pretty cool.
Cheers, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah. And look, we're going through as well. You mentioned as well, speaking of your podcast travails, is it called the Big Squid Cast? Is that it?
It's the Big Squid podcast with Justin Hamilton. So it's all about Watchmen, the new series. If anyone has read the original series or is watching the show, they'll probably get the Big Squid reference.
Yes.
But it's honestly like it's just a really good listen. Like I have it on at work.
Has your episode been aired yet?
No, not yet. So
not yet. Okay, so we've got to keep an eye.
2 shows away.
2 shows away. Okay, cool. I just want to, because I want to just add some show notes and stuff. So I'll be sure to do that. One of your colleagues as well, Siobhan, who is featured on the show. Sorry?
My arch nemesis, my arch comic.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Everything comics related, but everything else we're good on.
Well, she likes basketball as well, right? So there's a common ground. Yeah. But you two together is kind of like matter and antimatter, right? With comics, so... Anyway, so she features as well. Siobhan's been on the show as well ages ago. She did it at Bare Bones.
Right. Look, Siobhan, all jokes aside, she knows the stuff, and
yeah, absolutely.
She was fantastic on the show both times. But don't tell her I said that.
So cool. So there you go, Loonies. All of these will be in the show notes. The Big Squid podcast. Check it out. That sounds really good. The Watchmen TV show. You must check it out. Look, Wayne said it. Khonshu said it. I'm saying it. It's really good. Yeah. The Last Spectacle. Look, I wanted to shout this out. This came up. I only kind of trawled through this just after our last episode, so I missed doing a shout-out. But thank you so much for everyone's iTunes ratings. They really do mean a lot, and they expose us to a lot more people out there and potential loonies. So anyway, this one dropped last week or so. Huge thank you, another 5-star rating. I just wanted to give it a shout-out, and this is from Roy Batty 76. And he mentions a podcast, Blessed by Khonshu, one of the hardest working podcasts out there, covering every and anything Moon Knight and Moon Knight related. If you're a long-time fan, such as myself, or new to the fold, ITK is your one-stop destination for our favourite loony boy in white, or classically Silver and Jet. Tune in, turn and praise Khonshu. Thank you so much, Roy. That is a I tell you, it just warms our heart.
Checks in the mail, Roy.
Checks in the mail, and I guarantee you, Wayne, that is not me. Okay, I didn't change my name to Roy. No, it's a genuine. So thank you so much, Roy. I just wanted to shout you out. Fantastic stuff, and please, anyone, iTunes ratings. They do our podcast wonders in a sea of podcasts out there. It's very hard to make yourself kind of known. So these reviews help and ratings help. So thank you very much. That is pretty much our Spectre call. Now, Wayne, we are, what do you call it? Caterpillaring, or we're belly crawling our way towards this review. We're getting very close. The last thing on our night watch. So our night watch, it's a bit of a mouthful, is just a little howdy doody to our loonies there who want to know any appearances of Moon Knight, so they can complete their collection. There's not much really between now and Serpent War coming out on the 4th of December, so that's your only thing that you got to worry about. There are a few how many variants, Wayne? There are a few variants for this, about 4 or something?
4?
Yeah, 4 or 5.
I don't know, but I could. You know what? I'll have a decent dig at work next week, and I'll let you know.
Okay.
On the Facebook page.
Yeah, exactly. Again, show notes will be for King's Comics as well. Just check them out. There's a lot of variants. Some of them very hard to get, but maybe your LCS will help you out. So that's the Night Watch. Okay, Wayne. I think we've. Let's get into it. We'll just take a quick break. We'll have a couple of words from our fellow collective members, our lovely group, our lovely network, and we'll be right back for our review.
The swamp, more than merely a place. It is a churning, seething, bubbling bed of life, of which you are a part. Once you were a man, a chemist named Ted Salas, until one little experiment went somewhat awry. And you changed. The serum that was to have made you a super soldier combined with the strange forces in the swamp to make you over into this, a shambling, mindless mockery of your former humanity. The macabre Man-Thing.
Man-Thing was created in the early 1970s to capitalize on the growing monster craze, but under writer Steve Gerber it became something quite different. Experimental, surreal, and very, very weird. It was something I loved as a kid, but does it still hold up today, 4 decades after its initial publication? So join me, Paul Matthew Carr, as I attempt to make sense of this cult classic and analyze each issue, putting it in the context of the time it was written and comparing it to the standards of today. And maybe you too can come to love the world's second most famous swamp-based comic book character as much as I do. The Nexus of All Realities, a Man-Thing podcast, a twice-monthly dive into the bizarre.
Hey there everyone, I'd like to tell you about the YouTube channel I Am Your Target Demographic. If you're a fan of comics, we have plenty that you'll enjoy over there, including a series called Heroes Like Us that explores comic characters of all sorts of different identities. And we even have a series that defines words that are used in nerd culture that you may not know what they mean. So you can check us out by heading to YouTube and searching I Am Your Target Demographic, or look up IAYTD on any social media outlet.
Yes, welcome back, Looney listeners. You are listening to Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast. This is episode 123. I don't know if that has some sort of significance, but I am with Wayne Hunt, Wayno.
You can call me Wayne.
No, actually, I like to call you Conquerlord. Conquerlord.
Oh.
I'm hoping you're still banding that around, Wayne, at work.
I actually threw that around last week.
Did you? Okay.
I had some Silver Age stuff out and walked past an old Moon Knight and was like, Conquerlord. No one knew what the hell I was talking about, though.
Well, nor should they. He's a very, very silly character.
Yeah, you good, sir.
I like to see him modernised. I like to see him brought into, the modern comics.
I want him just the same as he is.
Just the way he is.
Throw him straight back in.
Yeah, with his pet rats.
No apologies. I mean, I can't tell from the colouring if it's supposed to be like he's semi-bare-chested or if it's an orange, kind of like...
I think you just go for the most illogical take, and that's probably it.
On skin, yeah.
Yeah. But Loonies, we are here for our LUNAR-PICK review, a modern run review. No Conquerlord in this. Instead of that, we have Bendis. So, available on single issue, Comixology, Kindle, Marvel Unlimited. But also there are a couple of hardcovers of this run available. I'll be referring to mine during this review. And Wayne, if it's okay, I didn't discuss with you earlier. Can I ask you to do the bare bones?
Oh,
yeah. I'll just read the credits. But have you got the bare bones with you?
Let me see. Yes, I do.
Excellent. So we are covering Moon Knight Volume 6, Issue 4. There's no title for it really. It's published October 2011. Cover artist Alex Maleev, writer Brian Michael Bendis, penciler and inker Alex Maleev, colorist Matthew Wilson, letterer Cory Petit, and editor Tom Brevoort. Now, Loonies, you have been spoiled before with Wayne's fantastic narration. With the Conquerlord issues, I pass it on now to Wayne to give us the bare bones for this issue.
All right, settle in, guys. Sometime after Maya's call with Mark, Maya calls her contact with the Avengers, Carol Danvers. Maya tries to see if it's worth trusting Mark, but Carol is able to validate Mark since he is a secret Avenger with Steve Rogers. Maya takes Carol's word and meets Mark for hot dogs. Yummy. During their meeting, the two try to uncover more information from each other. Mark has decided to produce television to hide in plain sight while earning money for his endeavors, while Maya was trying to locate the owner of the club where she was working at. Just as the two are beginning to match and compare their sources, TikTok from the night shift arrive, interrupt their conversation. TikTok, with their ability to read their immediate future, begins to dissect their next moves as the remaining night shift members arrive. However, one variable TikTok does not account for is Mark's Wolverine gauntlet. Mark leaps forward to attack with Maya. Directly behind him, working with Steve, Peter, and Logan, Moon Knight becomes the best of each while trying to take out the night shift. However, Moon Knight is nearly killed by a hypnotizing assassin, but Maya is able to shoot her down. With the night shift defeated, Mark tries to run before the police arrive, but Maya is too focused on interrogating TikTok as she can't hear the siren. Cops swarm the scene.
Yes, thank you so much, Wayne. I never know what to expect with these narrations, Wayne, but fantastic stuff. If you like your old school radio announcements, Wayne is your man. That is fantastic. So there you go, Loonies. That was a synopsis, a rundown of this issue. Now, for those that haven't listened before, what we do is that we'll run through some aspects, some key aspects. We'll just broadly go through the writing, the art, themes, characterizations, and any references to other runs, and we'll cap off this baby with our moon rating. Now, Wayne, you do have the choice of our vanilla rating, which is more of the phases of the moon out of 10, or we do have Khonshu's rating system, which he has kindly donated to the show, patented pending. So,
some of them, they're great.
So, first of all, before we start into the aspects, Wayne, okay, overall, what did you think of this issue, issue 4? Was it good?
I mean, just the issue by itself. If I'm taking this just on single issue value, it's good. It's really good. You should read it, and there's a lot of questions to be asked. The thing with Bendis I always find is just really, I mean, whether you love him, hate him, I just tend to find his stories just tend to fall apart closing it out. You know, they're always really strong starts. And then somewhere past the middle, for me, there's too many loose ends. There's it just seems to, or it at times feel like the ending's been rushed. I mean, in the past, I put that down to maybe a workload issue, but just more and more. In general, though, I don't have a problem with Bendis.
Okay, yep. This is a weird one. And I just say, it's funny, a lot of people say, with Bendis, they always start their sentences, like, with Bendis' stuff. This one, this issue, I didn't mind, totally, it was okay. What I did find with Bendis, though, and this kind of brings it out, is reflecting on the issue after I read it. I was just say, okay, so what exactly did happen? And it's like, nothing much, really. Nothing much. There was just a lot of talk. I can distill it to two things. It was Maya and Mark's pontifications about their relationship, and there was a fight, and that was it. There was nothing else to me.
Yeah, I kind of broke it down to three elements. I kind of broke it down to the discovering of, the tension between the team. Then I actually really enjoyed the middle part, which was, Mark sitting down eating his hot dog, in his madness, talking to himself essentially with, Cap on one side, Spidey and Wolverine.
Yes.
And then the action scene. So, I mean, as far as like single issue goes, like there's enough elements in there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do see that too, but I just like single issue wise, I think this is a good example of getting that reader to that next issue. Yeah,
I think it definitely is part of a greater whole in this. So there's and as you say, there are elements of the action plus a little bit of characterization, trying to kind of see how each character works with each other as well. A positive thing about this, there are little moments in this I really enjoyed, just in the dialogue, like just really funny things. Like I've got to call it out. The thing at the beginning with Carol Danvers and Echo talking to each other, and Carol goes, "Who's dated Moon Knight here?" And everyone goes, "No." Spidey goes, "Oh, a little bit." So, those little smart ass comments I think are pretty funny, and it's very Bendis-y. So there are some nice little moments here. Look, the total low bar that I always kind of measure from is Civil War 2 for Bendis, because absolutely hated that event. Yeah. So look at putting this up against that. It's kind of like, well, this is okay. It's not, it's no Civil War 2. But yeah, let's get into the writing then, Wayne. What did I say here? Just very Bendis-y dialogue.
I mean, Yeah, I mean, you mentioned on the little touches of humour that Bendis and pulls from his work. I mean, I still feel like he has a little bit of trouble maybe writing women.
Okay.
Again, that's more based on the whole of this book. This single issue, it does enough to get you engaged and to wanting to know more about Echo, and obviously something's starting to build in this issue between Mark and Echo. So that's kind of interesting as well. But
I guess that's what they were going for. They're going for this is highlighting that something may be happening here, because Echo obviously seems interested in him, and the same goes the other way. I mean, Echo's sorry.
I was just going to say, there's just, you read something like this and then you forget about the page count, and if you eliminate that and take the ads out of this, there's so much more room for growth, so much more room for, and little subtleties that that they could have dived into to develop that relationship as well, and to build the care factor with the reader. Yes. Yeah.
I also tend to agree though. So I like Echo. Like Maya Lopez, I think she's a great character as well. Do you find Bendis might be trying to turn this into an Echo issue rather than a Moon Knight issue? Did you find Moon Knight taken away a little?
I don't know, man. I kind of found this sometimes I find the women he writes all tend to be pull a little bit from Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Which he done such a fantastic job on, but I just feel like they almost all have that element to them. Really, I think he does a decent job on Carol though. But
yeah, Carol's pretty cool. I mean, but also having said that though, there is a particular Bendis-y way of speaking as well. So you can kind of hear everyone kind of speaking like Bendis, which is one of my major gripes for Bendis because. I remember reading his Guardians of the Galaxy, and it was Kitty Pryde, but it wasn't. It was Jessica Jones. You know what I mean? It's like, we need a bit of range with the characters here. Okay, so with the writing also as well. So, what are your thoughts actually on these identities of Cap, Spidey, and Wolvie?
I dug it. I mean, I like it. I wish it was a bit more for the reader and reading it. I think the angle would be much better if you almost like a Sixth Sense approach. Like, are they really there? Do you know what I mean? And I think I would have enjoyed that much more. But the dialogue between is fine. I mean, I think you mentioned it in the notes that Wolvie's almost this begrudging character. He's like almost the.
He's kind of like the Jake Lockley, isn't he?
Yeah, negative part of his conscience.
Yeah. It's I mean, this is one of the biggest gripes I think that a lot of Loonies have. Bendis playing around with the identities within Moon Knight's mental within his head. Look, I don't mind it. I mean, reread. First time I read it, obviously I was a little shocked, a little irked. Yeah. But rereading it and knowing what's going to happen, it's okay. There's a massive hole in there being no, Stephen Grant, Jake Lockley, stuff like that, which is a massive element of Moon Knight. But
how much, how many back issues do you think Bendis before going into this when read Moon Knight? Do you know what I mean? Like that's he would went on Wikipedia, that would have been it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Not much more than that.
Just a bit around the water cooler, with some writers who have written Moon Knight. To tell me a bit about him. Oh yeah, okay.
I mean, look, hindsight too. Like this issue and this, this piece of work in whole. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit. Forgiving with it because I know what it led to. Like, this was for a guy like Lemire to come in and pull the magic he pulled and really, really delve deep into, the split personalities and how it affected Mark.
Yeah. I mean, so I guess this is something. Obviously, this is something that stays throughout the whole run. I mean, just got to look at issue 5. The cover is Moon Knight, Cap, Wolvie, and Spidey's face all integrated. So it's something that you just have to kind of accept during this run. But I guess it is nice. I mean, the purpose is no different, than a bit more simplified than, say, Jake Lockley and Stephen Grant and stuff. I mean, these are clearly defined. Cap is obviously the sensible one. Wolverine is the aggressive one, and Spidey, I don't know. He kind of comes across as the immature one.
It's kind of weird because he's there real life, and then it's also a part of Mark's problem as well. So it's kind of weird. I thought that was kind of weird too, that they still have Spidey real time in Mark's world as well.
Oh no, I don't think he. Well, you mean as in physically there
with the like the Avengers, like the
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's a bit weird. Anyway, so I mean, I think Echo's written quite well. She's an intriguing character. Mark again, I don't know. Doesn't necessarily sound like Mark, but he's the character of whoever Bendis is writing as Mark. The dialogue is solid, I thought. Art wise as well. I mean, there's not. I don't know too much to say about the art. It's
I love it.
I think it's great. Yeah. Sorry.
I was just going to say, we touched on, with Serpent War. Serpent War's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we touched on it's setting the tone and it being too almost cartoony, rounded, and this it's exactly what it needs. For what it's touching on. It's etchy. It's loose lines. I love anything that's a bit more art orientated than computer generated, which is the vibe you get from this. It feels like watercolors with ink over the top, which is speaking my language of that. But even the paneling is fine. There's not breaking any new with the paneling, but just there's the conversation with Echo and Mark where they're sitting on the bench after Mark scoffed down that hot dog, and they're all covered in their skin is all blues and shadows, and that's cool for that intimate talking, that breaking the bullshit down, let's get into it and have some real conversation. So even some of the action scenes, I think there's one of Echo maybe doing a kick, and there's an orange spray background, taking those chances, and something that I actually spoke about with the Watchmen series, the color palettes on this. I think the color palette on this particular issue probably impressed me the most, but I did like the style they went with.
Yeah, I'd agree. A lot of the credit would be to, I think, the color. The colors are really nice. It just gives that real. It sets the tone for the issue, and I guess for the series in general. Interesting though. I really like the art as well, and Alex Maleev is awesome. He's great. Yeah. This issue though, I can't remember if the other issues are like it. It seems that he's kind of, to me, he's playing around with his style a bit. It seemed a lot more stylized.
Maybe because the character he has in front of him too, though. Let's remember when this series came out. This is a series that you give to a young artist or a young writer that you can really take some creative, risk with and probably get away with it. But
yeah, I think it's just like an observation. It seems, and I wonder if it's because he inks his own here. I'm casting my mind back to the Daredevil run that he did as well. Very different. I think I haven't got it here, but I think if you put them side by side,
that's the newer one, right? That came out. That's the
came out in the 2000s sometime. It was a Bendis Maleev. I think it was before this, so before 2011. Yeah. It's one of the best Daredevil runs out there, and as much as people don't like Bendis, that is probably have to be one of my favourite runs ever. Very well written.
Yeah, actually, I haven't read that yet.
Oh, really? Oh, you must. It will draw you in, just like the Watchmen TV show. Seriously, it's yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. I wonder if it's the inking here because he inks it himself, which is, or it's a deliberate, more simplified version of his art. And he may think that this fits into the tone of the book. I don't know. One of the things I do have to call out is I found a little weird, art-wise. It's on one of their pages here where Moon Knight gets punched in the face. Do you remember that? With it's 4 panels. It's a red background. It's just a close-up of a fist on Moon Knight's face. And I just had to laugh a little because Moon Knight's face just looks really weird. Yeah. I had to double-check. Yeah.
They've cloaked it. They've marked his cloak red.
Yeah. And I just had to double check. Is this meant to be Moon Knight? And I turned the page, just like, yeah, that's meant to be him. He got punched.
Yeah.
That was a bit weird. But other than that, I think the art was quite sound. The Avengers at the beginning looked really good.
Yeah. I love Big Ben Grimm just lounging.
Yeah, he looks really cool. I think it's Mockingbird and Luke Cage, Jessica. I don't know who that other guy is. The other guy's reading a mag. Oh, that's meant to be Wolverine. Yeah, he looks different.
Oh, yeah. He's got the over-exaggerated hair. It's kind of...
It's a bit weird. Yeah. He cut it just before the issue. So the art's okay. So theme-wise, I think, as I mentioned before as well, Wayne, the main themes for this for me are Mark's relationship with the other Avengers, and also Echo's growing interest in Mark. I mean, the thing opens up with Echo speaking to Carol, trying to find out a bit more about Mark.
Yeah.
And in doing so, we kind of get a sense of how Moon Knight is placed or seen within the Avengers as well. Any other themes, main themes for this? I mean, again, I couldn't really, other than that and the fight, I can't really see any underlying tones or... it's a pretty simple story, right?
Yeah. I mean, I did like how, the voices in Mark's head of Wolvie, Spidey, and Cat, they all come to unison towards the end with, like, the violence.
Yep.
You know,
yes, yeah.
All immigrants, they're all like, yes, sort of thing. So, that was kind of cool. I thought it was a bit wasted, the, what was the name? Dancing Macabre?
Dance Macabre, yeah.
Yeah. I thought she was a bit wasted. Like, there was good potential for there.
Yeah, there's some interesting characters here. Like, some they aren't really elaborated on. There's the guy with this... It's like a Grim Reaper or something. He's got.
Actually, reading this issue again, I was just like, "Oh, you know what? I'd dig their series. Like if they had their own, I'd read that."
Oh, yeah, the Night Shift. These guys.
I don't care. Give me a 6 part.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. I mean, yeah, that Dance Macabre. She's Dancing Macabre. Yeah. She's potentially quite dangerous, but she kind of carks it. She's gone.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. Okay, if we're going to jump into characterizations, I've got here TikTok.
Yes.
Really? Come on. What was... Okay, can you explain to me the purpose of TikTok in this story?
I mean, you know what? It's just a way to introduce the villains, really, right? Like,
Exactly. Exactly.
It's just that... I mean... Initially, it's kind of cool. It's like this subtle, cool character who spells it out to Mark and Echo of how it's going to go down. Like, and then they just go do their own thing anyway.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, exactly. But that's the thing, right? So he comes in, he kind of creates a little bit of tension. Like, I know what's going to happen. I can see the future. Yeah. And then so you're gonna fight, but it's not going to end well. But
for either of us, he says. So it's
for
like
either, yeah.
That sets this cool tone, and then it's like, oh well, Mark's, Wolverine in Mark's head's like, let's shut this bald guy up,
Yeah, and they end up just doing what it seems to be. He's trying to imply that you shouldn't go down that road because it's not going to end well. They just do it anyway, and yeah, So I don't know. I think for him to be used like Bendis using TikTok as a tool, it was. How would I say? It's very cheaply done.
I mean, there's no exploration. There's no exploring of these characters. I mean, you could have stretched it out and really got into these characters, but I mean, it's a single issue, I suppose, in that sense. But...
I mean, there's nothing huge at stake. I mean, he's saying, look, you're in trouble now. We've got the night shift here. You better be careful. Don't go fight us because it's not going to end. I can tell the future. That's all that Bendis really uses him for, and it's just thrown out the window, and they fight anyway. Yeah.
My thing when I sit down and read comics is always like it gets to the end of it. An issue, especially single issues, always gets to the end. I always go, all right, well, how invested was I in each character, even the villains, even the waitress, or even the dude serving up the hot dogs. Like, how invested was I in any of these characters? I mean, if I'm taking that approach to this, Mark and Echo, that's about it.
Pretty much, I think so.
Right? So it's like if you want to hold more weight, and I think that's probably the thing with Bendis too. It's like give us more. We know you're capable of great stuff, but I mean, take your time with this. Like, this could be great. This could be great.
Do you think, though, Wayne? Now, do you think that this issue was written as part of a, how am I saying, like as a trade? You know what I mean? So obviously, if you read this issue just by itself, it's not really going to satisfy you that much. But if you read the first arc, I guess the first 6 issues, it actually reads better because it's part. There's more of a continuous flow. Because this to me reads like we've just jumped into maybe, like the
action sequence. Right?
Yeah, the first half of the second act of some movie. You know what I mean? It's not fulfilling because it's like we get into the nice action and stuff, but there's nothing behind it. I mean,
it's so unfair of me to keep going back to like Watchmen comparisons, but I'm going to anyway. But it's that whole thing, right? Like, always, like I look at Watchmen and I think, how long did it take him to put this all together?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, when I go, I reckon it probably took him 2 to 3 years to put the Watchmen together, complete with art, with story, like storyline. Jesus, man, like all the little intricacies that is involved with Watchmen. Like I said, previously on the show, it's like nothing is there by mistake in Watchmen. And there's a lot of other newer stuff that's much like that as well. But how long do we reckon Bendis had to put this together? And maybe creators and writers these days, I know this goes, what was this, 90s? No, 2000?
2011, yeah.
So even, how much grace period do we think they've been given to put together something like this? It's probably not enough, so that's probably...
Yeah. Look, I'm actually stretching here as well. I'm making huge assumptions here. But further to what you're saying as well, how much time have they got? It almost appears that this issue was written with, okay, Bendis is plotting out like little milestones in how he wants the story to go. And he's kind of, okay, so I've got to get from here to here.
Trying to connect the dots, right?
Yeah, I've just got to fill in this little bit here to get Mark and Echo to have the police or the authorities get them. You know what I mean? And so it seems almost like he's retrospectively trying to write it just to get to a point. Whereas, if you do write something, you've got to make the whole thing engaging, right? Look, people are forking out $3 or $4 US bucks an issue. They want to be, they want to be taken on a journey. So, that is a little scathing of me. I've got no evidence to say it. But
no, I agree, actually, because it's like, how many pages of, ads and commercials were probably in this single issue,
Yeah.
That's like, you get to the end of it. I know with like a lot of the new Marvel stuff, like it's so paper thin now, like, at work we use, to wrap a lot of the orders, I'll use, say, a silver bag.
Okay, yep.
Silver bag, you could fit 5 issues comfortably to seal, then wrap again paper bag.
Yep.
All right. Nowadays, I could fit 3 Marvel issues almost easily into like a current bag.
Wow. Yeah.
Some of them are super paper thin, man. Like,
Yeah.
this issue, buying this off the shelf, you'd probably be a little bit. I mean, there's enough, but you'd probably be like, "Oh, is that it?"
Yeah, I get what you mean, but yeah, totally. I mean, exactly. I totally agree with you. There is enough there. Like, there's action, there's dialogue, there's talking, there's a little bit of humor, all that stuff. But I guess at the end of the day,
Would you reread it, right? Would you reread it?
Yeah, exactly. I'd probably reread it as a whole, like the 6 issues together. I wouldn't just say, "Oh God, I'm hankering to read issue 4 again. Let me reread it." Like, no. Yeah. And I guess it just leaves me a little unsatisfied, which is, I've despite, some of the opinions of Bendis and stuff, Connor and I found the first couple of issues quite well done. I really enjoyed it. But this issue has really kind of, I think, to me, petered off a little. It's kind of waned a little.
Good pun.
It's kind of Wayne-owed a little.
Yeah.
Anyway, Wayne, I don't know, is there anything else? I mean, references to other runs, there's not really any. Bendis is pretty self-contained. The only references, actually Echo with Daredevil, I think. But that's about it. Any other thoughts on characterizations or themes, Wayne?
No, I think we've pretty much covered it for this issue. I mean, like you said, it does feel a bit like, although there is enough in there for a single issue, there's not enough to make you want to go back and reread it, or you don't finish it and think, "Oh, but I think I missed something. I think I need to go back."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'd be very interested, Loonies, if there's a Looney out there that has this issue as one of their Isla Ra books, I would love to hear from you. It'd be very interesting. And everyone's got different tastes. That's all I'm saying as well, Wayne. I don't want to disparage anyone who loves this issue, because, at the end of the day, you and I are just talking about what we...
Yeah, and
how we experience it, yeah.
If you disagree with me, I'll fight you. I'll hunt you down. No, I don't.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly. Be careful, Loonies. Be careful. Now, Wayne, I think it's time to do a bit of a rating on this one. Would you like to pick from the vanilla or the Khonshu rating system?
It's tough. I'm gonna say waxing. Waxing. I think I'm gonna go the waxing crescent.
Waxing crescent at the higher end or lower end of the waxing crescent?
I mean, if I can get a 0.5, I'll go a 0.5. But if not,
Okay.
I'll go with...
No. Yeah, they can do it.
Maybe
3?
Yeah, I mean...
Okay.
I'd say about 3 to 3.5. If we're doing half, we'll go 3.5, but we can...
Yeah, we can do halves. Yeah, I'm just plugging in... Sorry, I'm Loonies... For those that are looking at the simulcast, I'm casting my eye down because I'm looking at the... I'm just plugging it into our records here. So 3.5 for Waxing Crescent. If you were to pick the Khonshu rating, that would be a DreamWorks logo moon. Just funnily enough. So for you, that really does not herald a pass at all, yeah?
I mean that's the thing. You know what? All right, I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna say a 4 because it's closer to a pass than a miss.
Okay.
It does enough. There's enough in there. The art's nice. It does its job. Could it be better? Yes. It could be a lot better. A lot more could be explored. Mm-hmm. It could be a thicker issue. And Bendis doing Bendis-y things.
Yeah, he certainly is. So you give a 4 out of 10 a Waxing Crescent. I think regardless of the rating system, because it comes out the same, I'm giving a 5 out of 10 right down on the pass. It does pass because, the art's good. There is some interesting dialogue, but on the whole, I do not leave it feeling satisfied. To me, it seemed like a little bit of a filler issue. No big things have happened, but having said that, Bendis stuff, like big things, kind of don't happen that much. There's a lot of talking in Bendis issues. So half the moon, or just a half moon, 5 out of 10 for this one. So Loonies, we know that a lot of Loonies don't really like Bendis. There was one actually, Looney Wayne, that was wondering whether he should actually buy the copies of the Bendis and just store it straight away. Because sorry?
I mean, I think, like you said, this a single issue. I mean, you're probably going to read this in trade. Like, you're probably going to read this as a whole story. Like, you're not seeking out this issue for collection, to reminisce over. I mean, the cover's nice, though. I really dig the cover, but
the cover's good, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but
that's really bad. Then we're both going, yeah, the cover's good.
Yeah.
So there you go, Loonies. 4 and 5. That's 4.5 average. That's okay. Anyway, again, these are just our tastes. If you do enjoy it, that's great. That's fantastic. And there's plenty of different tastes and styles for everyone. So just bear that in mind when you listen to our ratings. So with many missives, Wayne, not much. The Loonies were a little quiet on this issue, other than just posting up how much they hated Bendis, but I'm not going to put that on here. I wanted to shout out. We got a comment from YouTube, and it's actually from our episode before, episode 122. So I wanted to give a shout out to CMK7. Hello, CMK7. You sound like a droid. Anyway, your name. Anyway, he says, great episode, guys. This was last episode. And don't sleep on the possibility of the Russo brothers directing some Moon Knight. After the success of Captain America Civil War, in an interview they were asked what hero they liked to take on next, and they said Moon Knight. And they did not stutter. The Russo brothers are hardcore loonies, and I'd say the best directors in the MCU. I hope to Khonshu they at least direct a few episodes to set the tone. I worry if they get someone too fresh-faced to direct, they might miss the mark, so to speak. Haha, pun.
Let's see what you did there, dad joke.
With the Russos, you know it will be good. As a side note, James Gunn and the writers of Endgame also called out Moon Knight as a hero they'd be interested in taking on. So yeah, a lot of interest here, Wayne. Thank you, CMK7, thank you so much. Love interacting with you on YouTube. Your comments are very much appreciated, and wanted to give you a shout out. Yeah, Wayne, what did you think? The Russos, would you yay or nay?
I'd say nay, not because I don't think it'll be any good, but look, this is more of a preference than anything. I want the series to be dark, and I don't know that they start well. And I mean, I'd love to see someone like producers from True Detective, which I think has been raised before, to capture that real. I mean, look, we're not going horror. I don't think we need to go to that extent with it, but we need something that's going to treat the medium correct as far as capturing the feel of Moon Knight. And I suppose look, he's a guy running around in white with a cape. We need someone who's going to capture the seriousness of it, and still have the guy running around in white.
Yes, I'm sure Loonies would love to see that. I would love to see that as well. I think one of the concerns we have is that they will really change the look of him just to make him more. But having said that, Netflix did that. We don't know what the MCU will do. Disney Plus, sorry, they might very much do what the MCU does.
I mean, I think people are a bit afraid they're going to armorize him, like they Daredevil.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm kind of hoping if they do modify the suit or whatnot, maybe they go back the other way with it. Maybe they go more mummified Egyptian take on it, or the wrappings.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't make sense, would it? I mean, I wouldn't like to see him in the armor, because we know Moon Knight, would rather take a punch than defend or block. So that kind of laissez-faire attitude is what we...
Madmen are out of control.
Sorry?
I mean, he's a madman.
He's a madman. He's a craze. He's a...
His mindset is always attack.
Yeah. That mummy kind of costume sounds pretty cool. I love a little nod to Lemire. I'd love him to have the bed sheets. You know how it was in the Asylum?
Yes.
Easily doable. And I think that would be really cool. A nod to that would be awesome. Anyway, thank you, CMK7. Fantastic. Russos, look, I think as Natasha mentioned last episode, if they're on board, I'm happy because I know they're good. Similar to what they said, I know they can deliver, but I do want to see someone fresh faced and someone with a different perspective, because you just never know what you can get. That's a big gamble, but I think with Moon Knight you can gamble. I mean, look at the writers. Look at how he's been treated in comics. He's kind of like a sandbox for writers to really kind of stretch their imaginations. So hopefully that goes onto the TV as well. Anyway, Loonies, that pretty much wraps us up. Wayne, thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure.
It's always been fun chatting with you. It feels like ages, and it has been ages because you haven't been. And I haven't been actually to the store that often. I try to get there every fortnight or so, but the guys over there, Scotty and all that, they all speak highly of you.
I pay them well.
Hey,
I pay them well.
You pay them well. No, but a real pleasure to have you on the show, Wayne. Anytime. And thank you so much for your time as well.
Pleasure.
Excellent. Next phase, Loonies. We are entering the Serpent War, as mentioned, so we'll have a guest here. We'll have Dave Finn from the Signal of Doom. He is a Conan expert. He is a massive Conan fan, so I thought we'd have to bring in someone that knows what they're talking about for this issue, so it'll be fun to have Dave on. He can actually maybe fill the gaps with Conan and maybe give us a bit of a primer to the character for those that aren't too familiar. So that will be on next week. Look, we did it in the spectacle again, Wayne, but just your shout outs. Courtside Podcast on Podbean, right?
Yes, yeah. www.crt.podbean.com. Did I mess it up? I think I did. Podbean.com. Follow me with my art on Instagram at BUYWAHBYWA, and yeah.
Awesome. If you do order online on King's, and it will come through to Wayne, and he can have a look at your order.
Yeah, right. If you put it through, leave me a note in the comments section of your order.
Yeah, do that. Anyone. So Loonies.
Throw a little sketch in. I'll do my best.
Oh, there you go. Loonies, far out. Get onto it. Fantastic stuff. And before we go again, I've just got to give a shout out to the collective. We are part of a band of few like-minded podcasters, and we're in a network of mainly character-based podcasts, but also pop culture podcasts. And not only on audio, there are shows like I Am Your Target Demographic, which are YouTube channels. So there's a link to the show notes again. Just check out the collective. Heaps of great shows there. I mean, if you like stuff on Moon Knight, we've got stuff on The Man Thing, so Nexus of All Realities, a Man Thing podcast. There's also We Are Venomaniacs, a Venom podcast, as well as The Quantum Zone, which is all about Quasar on the Capes and Lunatics sidekicks. So characters galore. Check it all out. Finally, you can contact us again. Just check the show notes. We're on email, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Discord, Get Vocal, and we have our own website. Just click the links. It's a lot easier than trying to remember what I say. So there you go. Also, iTunes ratings, thank you very much. To Roy, again, that's not me. Thank you for that rating. And please leave a review if you can. That would be great. Also, just share the podcast around. Tell your friends. Tell anyone who might be interested. That all helps us. And I think that's about it, Wayne. So, look, I'd love for you to sign us off, Wayne, in your fantastic radio voice.
I think you better do it. I'm dying.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, thank you, Loonies. Thank you so much. And as Wayne floats off into the ether, I'd like to say, may Khonshu watch over the denizens of the night. Catch you later.
Moon Knight and affiliated characters, stories and events are properties of Marvel Characters Incorporated. Materials used and discussed within the podcast are intended for critique and review purposes only under the fair dealing concept of the current Copyright Act. The views, information or opinions expressed during the podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the copyright owners.